When I was a young married man, I knew a guy called Clarrie. And Clarrie was a big, huge guy. Not fat, but big and strong. He had hands that were like huge. And Clarrie had done many things in his life, but one of the things that he'd done was to be a dairy farmer. And when I knew Clarrie, he was pretty old. In fact, I can remember him turning 90. And Clarrie was one of those guys who'd never imposed himself upon a conversation, but if you had the chance to sit down and talk with him, he had some real gold. And one time he told me this story. In fact, to be honest, he told me this story lots of times, and that's probably why it's stuck in my head. But this story was really important for Clarrie. It was a life-defining, faith-forming story, and it was a truth that he held on to till the day that he died. And Clarrie would talk about when he was a younger man and he was a dairy farmer. And he would talk about how one year was so tough. It was a drought. And it got to the point that people were selling their cows. It got to the point that people didn't know what to do. And it got to the point that there was only enough water left in Clarrie's dam for one day. And people were deciding that they would hold on to that water so that they had water for their homes and that they would just get rid of their cows if they didn't know what to do. And Clarrie felt that God was saying to him, trust me. And so when everyone else was making much more sensible decisions, Clarrie did. He trusted in God, and he used that last bit of water. And I can't imagine what it would have felt like to him to use up the last of his water. And Clarrie would go on to say that amazingly, despite no forecast of it, that day it rained. And it rained enough that it would vindicate his decision. But Clarrie would continue to tell the story, and he would say to me, but you know what? I talked to my neighbours, those to the north, those to the south, those to the east, and those to the west. And he said, nobody else got any rain. And Clarrie would hold on to this incredible truth that in the moment in his life when things looked like they were hopeless and God said, trust me, and Clarrie found enough faith in his life to trust in God, God turned up. God was good. And that story has stuck with me all these years. And there have been times in my life that I have lent on that story. And in my own experience, God has also been good when he has said, trust me. Now that doesn't mean, of course it doesn't mean that every time there's a drought and you trust God it's going to rain. It doesn't mean that every time things are tough in your life and you're faced with something that's difficult, it's going to get better. It doesn't mean that. But it does mean when you hear that voice of God that says, trust me, and you lean into him and have faith, God turns up. That is my experience, and it was Clarrie's experience. Tough times come, but God never leaves us. So why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story because I really want you to know this truth in your life too. That if you turn to God, God will be good. And as well as that, I think about the amazing fact that I was fortunate enough to have someone like Clarrie to speak that truth into my life, to speak words of hope and faith. And I'm grateful that I was able to go to that place, that church, and have those people around me that spoke those words. And I wonder for you, who is it that speaks those words into your life? And do you take the time to listen? I just want to encourage you. Look around you, see those people that have experience and wisdom, even if they're not like you, even if you have to hear the story time and time again. Listen to them, because in there you'll find some amazing gold. May you know this truth, that no matter where you are, no matter how dry your dam, God is good and He loves you.